Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. We've got a mix of updates on Alpha 3.17.2 and 3.18 today, from cargo and commodity updates to some more context for the Ninetales and the Siege of Orison coming in the 3.17.2 patch. We also have some Alien Week info as well. So let's start talking about commodity kiosks. They're getting updated to the building block system as part of the cargo factor, so this appears to be for Alpha 3.18, and in that patch you're going to have a lot more power in your buying and selling at trade terminals. There are various steps and initiatives coming online for trade and cargo gameplay over the next few major patches. Currently, the old cargo kiosks and commodity kiosks don't show when commodities are out of stock when you're trying to buy and sell them, or if the area you're trying to sell to has no room for more stock of that particular item. So there are loads of sort of usability optimizations that could come along in here as well. In Alpha 3.18, you're going to see many quality of life improvements. They showed a rough version of what the UI will be able to do here, but it's very basic and needs to be updated and made specific for different areas and stations and kiosks. The new one is going to allow you to see if commodities are out of stock at an area. It'll also allow you to see if a commodity is fully in stock and can't receive any more stock. So it's sort of like, I'm full of this. Commodities will be affected by their demand, so there will be sort of value changes. You're going to have more valuable and expensive commodities if an area is low on them or they're out of stock on them. You'll also be able to know all of what a shop is able to buy and sell, even if it's not in a current state to be able to buy and sell that particular commodity because they're full, because they're empty, whatever. The system will also show the items and commodities in your ship that a shop doesn't want, including illegal items. And this is partly for better information for players, but also to help players know that a bug isn't occurring. There are going to be various versions of the UI based on the station or area you are at. Grimhex will be all sort of hacky in its sort of look for its terminals there. TDD, or Trade Development District sort of terminals, will be clean and fancy, for example. We also are expecting a few other things with the cargo refactor in 3.18. More varieties of cargo types and commodities, much more in the way of varying prices based on stock levels and what's going on with the dynamic universe stuff. Eventually, the stock, commodities, cargo, and pricing will all tie into this dynamic universe simulation. Only a few things make use of this currently, but missions, events, pricing, NPC activity will all drive the economy, and vice versa. You can expect many improvements coming with 3.18 and in the future releases as well, in regards to making commodities and cargo more interactive, having more types of crates and storage for items, physicalizing sort of crates where possible. You'll be able to move commodity crates around, but there's also going to be times and costs associated with loading and unloading cargo, and that will change up a lot of the cargo gameplay. Storage at landing zones and hangars will also be a thing eventually. There will be a wider range of cargo and hauling missions, as well as various opportunities. Beyond that, it's all part of a robust economy for the game that players can affect. There's a lot more beyond that that's planned, but we'll have to wait and see exactly when it's turning up and how the sort of development of cargo is iterated on. The Ninetales are returning for Alpha 3.17.2 with the Siege of Orison dynamic event. It looks like Cloud Imperium were wanting to release this event at Fleet Week, but it just wasn't ready. Ninetales are very conspicuous pirates and criminals and cover a wide range of violent activities in the Stanton system. They are reasonably well organised and have combat training. Currently, the Ninetales use Grimhex as their base of operations in the Stanton system. Ruto is one of the mission giver NPCs that deal with Ninetale missions for players, and that's just one of the ways that players can work with them. The Ninetales have a Ninetales lockdown dynamic event, which is sometimes on the servers. They barricade a space station, and players can either help the Crusader security fight them, or help the Ninetales with their lockdown, and that creates a nice PvP sort of environment. This had the area of space around the station not suitable for quantum travel, sort of there's interdictions going on, but had various opportunities for trade turning up because of that, and obviously lots of combat going on, both against NPCs but also players. As Cloud Imperium expand out more missions and reputations along with general gameplay, eventually events will trigger off each other. A Ninetales lockdown based on what happens during that sort of set of missions, might lead to a Siege of Orison event, for example. Or Xenothreat might scout an area and sort of do lots of little missions around areas that players can affect, but if they don't get rid of them or they don't deal with them in a certain amount of time, then an invasion might occur. The Siege of Orison is mostly focused on FPS gameplay. However, there's a lot of interest in sort of moving around platforms and bits going on. And it might change somewhat since the sort of play tests that they had with 3.17 and Fleet Week. Alien Week is also coming up next week, and as part of that, we're going to be able to apparently see some updates to the internals of the Banu Merchantman. This is one of the most sort of anticipated and wanted alien ships, and is a floating sort of space station or trade ship bazaar. It's a floating marketplace, I suppose, is the best way of putting it. Whereas the Kraken, I suppose, is much more of a floating sort of space station. I also suppose that the Banu Merchantman probably wants to land in places more to trade, but I suppose it can do trade in space as well. I think we'll probably do a bit of a deep dive into the Banu Merchantman once we see those updates. It's also possible that we could see a new alien ship or vehicle go on sale. It might be concepts, that could be straight to flyable, along with some lore posts and various competitions to win ships. That's the sort of stuff you see in Alien Week. You can also expect various alien ships to be on sale during this time too. I'm really looking forward to Alpha 3.17.2, the Siege of Orison dynamic event, if it works well and allows players to jump in, and then you get to sort of aid in retaking those floating platforms in FPS, but that sort of also requires everyone to work together. Maybe I'll get to do some cool medical gameplay, helping people, dragging them back behind our lines while we're assaulting, and if it's got a bit of length and difficulty to it, that mission set, or that sort of a dynamic event, and there's not too many bugs, yeah, I think it's going to be great. And it should also lead eventually to more interesting ground-based missions in the future too. And the more they put these sort of dynamic events in game and test them, and have players focusing, testing on them, the more they sort of see opportunities for other gameplay, other missions, and the sort of what they need to balance and how that sort of changes the development for the future. But there's actually quite a lot more coming with 3.17.2, and Cloud Imperium keep on revealing more and more. So there's updates to loads of missions, there's new illegal delivery missions, there's new missions at Reclaimer points of interest, so they've got these new Reclaimer derelicts. There's apparently settlements being, or at least a settlement being made out of the Reclaimer, but also NPCs are more readily able to move around these areas. There's sort of new planetary nav mesh updates, and it is more specific for utilising and moving around the Reclaimer derelicts at this stage, but it will be rolled out to more and more ships in the future. And we've got more space stations, there's updates to the combat service beacons, giving them more difficulty and depth as sort of like interesting combat for spaceships. We could also get some more features beside that, and maybe a new vehicle or ship or something like that too. Maybe some balance updates, lots of bug fixes are the expectation. And because it's part of the 3.17 branch still, we should actually see a nice refined branch for 3.17.2 as they sort of iron out a lot of the problems. But what do you think? Are you excited for Alpha 3.17.2? Testing for that patch actually should start pretty soon, as early as next week in fact. Does the Siege of Orison have you getting prepared for FPS assaults? What about Alpha 3.18? Are you looking forward to cargo, salvage, persistence, any of those with that? What other features are you hoping to see with 3.17.2 or 3.18? Are you excited for the Banu Merchantman seeing more work? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below.
Hello, it's me, the Queen. It's my Platinum Jubilee this year, and safety and security are paramount. Lots of people ask me why we need a Queen and NordVPN. I defend the world with my sceptre and crown, preventing those who do it harm from carrying out their evil deeds. Channeling the power of nordvpn.com/BoredGamer and my divine right, I can overcome any obstacle, and so can you, by using the links below to get great deals and better internet accessibility, security, and encryptionosity. I don't know what that word was that I was trying to say, but I am the Queen! I will never be defeated, just like nordvpn.com/BoredGamer.
That wasn't the Queen at all. It was me. It was BoredGamer. I've got to say this at the end, actually, now, just in case someone says I'm impersonating the Queen. Tried to get her, but she was too busy. She says got like a busy weekend or something.
Every month we have a ship giveaway. For June, we're giving away the newly released RSI Scorpius Heavy Fighter. This is a 2-seater X-Wing styled ship with a powerful loadout and a turret that can move from the top to the bottom of the ship, giving it a much better range of firing arcs. To be in for a chance of winning that, comment on any of my videos made during this month. More details in the description below. Please also consider supporting the channel by becoming a member with the join button under my videos, or becoming a Patreon, or even donating with a thanks button or donations in the descriptions below. Star Citizen is getting more and more flesh on its bones, and there's always news coming out, and we love to cover that, and we're only able to do that because of all of you watching and all the amazing people that go the extra mile. Whether it's commenting, sharing our videos, chucking money at us or whatever, thank you so much. I hope you have a great June, please take care, and I'll see you in the verse.